Raw dogging reality, raw dogging reality. Today's episode is going to be about over the top falling in love with and celebrating yourself as a way to overcome any bad habit or addiction. And I will give you an example of exactly what I'm talking about right off the bat. I'm going to pretend I'm looking in the mirror. Dave, you got a great haircut. You have great tattoos. You're so funny. You look fantastic. You are a really cool husband. I like the way that you are a friend, and I like how you show up with your family. You're an excellent professional, and you're always like growing and changing and being creative. Mwah! All I can say is you get an A plus plus. That's how I recommend you talk to yourself in the mirror daily. It takes 30 seconds. You can do it. So I will tell you a story about why this can be so profoundly life changing. And I'm not just being enthusiastic for no fucking reason. This really like changed me. So I had a therapist who used to do core energetics with me, and she didn't touch me inappropriate, but there was kind of like a little vibe. Like she would have me lay back over the foam roller, and she would kind of touch my stomach, and I felt like it was getting a little bit close to my junk, and that was a little intense for a therapy session. Something like reminded me of something. I don't know if I was molested. I might be one of those kids who like repressed it, but it just didn't feel right. It felt like some old trauma coming up. And so I left that therapy. I went to another therapist, and I said, I really don't want you to touch me in this therapy, because it was the same core energetics, which involved a lot of like physical stuff. And she was like, "Oh yeah, absolutely." And then at the end of that therapy session, I went into the bathroom. I looked at myself in the mirror, and I said, I'm not gonna let anyone do anything you don't want to you. I said that as the father to my inner child, because I have actually sustained some sexual abuse at a bit of an older age, so it wasn't when I was a child. So when I said that to myself, I went from someone who was compulsively reacting to their trauma to consciously responding. And the tears were so healing. And it might have taken a couple years after that for it to really like sink in that I am safe with this inner father. But when I did do that, I had no need to do anything sexual that wasn't 100% beneficial to me. I mean, I might have fantasies about it. Shame based fantasies are hot if you want to have them. Great, fantastic. But I just don't need to act on them anymore, which is fantastic. So I recommend that if you're trying to change a habit, change your life, change your addictions, you get really Mr. Rogers with yourself. Do not skimp on this. People are so stingy with themselves. It's like they can hardly even take deep breaths. Like, I have to breathe like this. I want you to be a greedy for breath, greedy for love, greedy for positive self talk, and go over the top with it. Imagine, even when, let's say that you're struggling with an addiction and you do act out on that addiction, like you smoke weed tonight when you are trying to fast from weed, or you jerk off to porn when you're trying to stop that. Even if you do that, I want you to go to the mirror and celebrate yourself. Imagine there's like a cheerleading team. It's like dun 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 dun. Hey, I just jerked it. Or dun 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 dun. Hey, I just smoked it. You know, if people who did quote unquote bad things didn't shame themselves, we'd have a much better world. It's because, guilt is okay. Guilt is appropriate. It's like I need to make an adjustment. But shame is like there's something wrong with me, and so just like, it might be very subtle. It might be like, you're stuck in a substance use pattern as opposed to like overt addiction, or you're just in a use pattern and you don't really know how to stop it, but you think by yelling at yourself you're going to change. It's exactly the motherfucking opposite. So I want you to do what I do, and I'm going to practice what I preach. Every day this week, I am going to look in the mirror and spend 30 seconds to a minute and a half showering myself with compliments, like I'm in love with myself, like I am my own child and I love my child. Why would you not do that? I don't understand the objection. So I'll see you next time. I want you to go over the top. I want to be your own personal punk rock Mr. Rogers to help you get over whatever it is you need to get over. Namaste, bitches. That's decaf coffee in my cup because I treat myself good.